Hello, epic viewers from around the multiverse. Prepare to indulge in experiencing sheer bliss, because today another riveting, captivating, stellar unboxing video is about to be brought to fruition. What item will I be unboxing? What item will I be opening? Without further delay, without further procrastination, allow me to elicit the box. What item is encompassed inside this bulky, hefty, tangible, nifty box? Let's find out. I'm going to demystify the answer to that inquiry right here, right now, so bear with me. It will only take me billions of picoseconds to extract the item from the box and subsequently flaunt it in front of the camera for you to feast your glorious eyes on. Here we go. The unboxing process is about to commence. The unboxing process is officially underway. What item have I drawn forth? What item have I prompted? What item have I elicited? Let's find out. This character is known by the moniker of Chucky. Is he notorious? Is he infamous? Is he malicious? Is he cunning? Is he conniving? Is he sadistic? Is he coercive? Possibly. Apparently he has voice commands that can be triggered via the button on his back.
A true classic never goes out of style.
Is this doll epic? Is this the quintessential Chucky doll? I believe so. I'm an avid, devout Chucky fan. Why do I say that? I love Chucky's witty humor. His antics are enthralling, to say the least. Is Chucky a paradigm of perfection? Is he the epitome of resounding perfection? Is he the embodiment of perfection? That's subjective. The Chucky movies are meritorious. Is he revered amongst other horror movie characters? Perhaps. Is he renowned amongst characters in purgatory? Perhaps. Who knows? Do you know the lore behind Charles Lee Ray? If you do, then this doll will likely eminently appease you. Alrighty, so this is apparently the Bride of Chucky variant, or Bride of Chucky version of Chucky. Why did I decide to procure the Franken Chucky, or the Bride of Chucky variant of Chucky, as opposed to the Child's Play version of Chucky? Well, I prefer his design. I love his aesthetics. I love his demeanor. I love his textures. I love his shadings. I love his hues. I love his sculpt. He's a robust, stellar, intricate, novel, extraordinary doll. His appearance emulates Chucky's appearance from the Bride of Chucky movie. So, I'm done embellishing this doll. Did this doll merit a premium price? Did he warrant a premium price? I believe so. I have a proclivity to love merchandise appertaining to the Chucky franchise. Therefore, I was inclined to buy this doll. When I get the opportunity, I want to procure a Chucky figurine. Am I content? Am I gratified? Am I buoyant? Am I jubilant? Well, I am content with my purchase and decision. I have no qualms about it. I recollect spending roughly $76 to procure this doll via eBay. I won him in an auction. To ascertain victory in an eBay auction, you need to bid amid the final 10 seconds of the auction. If you bid in advance, you just prompt other people to counterbid and outbid you. So, if you do not want to concede the item to them, then bid at the final seconds of the auction. That way you preclude them from being able to counterbid you. Alrighty, so here's a box devoid of this Chucky doll. Before this box is discarded and before this box is relegated to the trash and consigned to the trash, before it is neglected and discarded, I want to briefly flaunt it in front of the camera. I love how the front is transparent so you can see the contents of the box. We also have an instruction manual apparently. So this was churned out by Mezco. I believe it was produced amid 2015. You can verify that for yourself. I believe he stands roughly 15 inches tall, which is approximately a foot and a quarter of a foot in height. So he's a foot and a quarter in height. What else? His outfit is seemingly not removable. You may have the autonomy to sever it or dismantle it or decimate it or ravage it at your discretion, but if you remove it, it's likely arduous to place back onto the doll. Alrighty, so here's a package and here's a package and popcorn. I don't need that. That has no pragmatic use anymore. Now I need to unravel these twist ties and liberate him. Hopefully I won't succumb to death in the pending future, but the future is an enigma. The future is obscure. The future is precarious. So I have no idea what will transpire post unboxing this Chucky doll. I hope that this seemingly inanimate object doesn't take my life. But if he's going to swipe me, there's nothing I can do. I guess you can say those are, I guess you can say that those are the repercussions of my purchase and decisions. I reap what I sow, right? If I purchase a horror movie doll, my life could be in peril or in jeopardy, to say the least. I'm just exaggerating. Perhaps I'm embellishing this figurine a bit too much. He's akin to a large action figure. He's quite sizable. He's massive. He's colossal. Alrighty, so here we have the Chucky doll. I'm experiencing the doll firsthand. You could vicariously experience the doll through my perspective. He has ample points of articulation. He cannot move his hands too far outwards. They can't go outwards past this point. They can, however, move inwards. So the arms can contract. What else? The fingers lack any semblance of finger joint articulation. The fingers on his right hand are semi-clenched together. In stark contrast to the fingers on his right hand, the fingers on his left hand are open. I detest when there's apertures running through the fingers, but there's nothing I can do about that.
Classic never goes out of style.
But that was an accident. So moving on, it seems as though his elbows are not double jointed, nor are his knees. In fact, his knees lack any joints. He can't really perform an ankle pivot, so there's a missed opportunity there. He lacks a diaphragm joint. His head seems to be relegated to a ball joint rather than a disc joint. I would have preferred if his head contained more hair.
True classic never goes out of style.
That was an accident. I didn't mean to trigger the button. So the buttons are obscured by his clothing. You can't actually see them. You just have to press down on his clothing, which will prompt his voice commands if you want to hear him speak. So I love the fact that he could spew words from his vocal folds. He can spew at least 15 disparate phrases from his vocal folds, apparently. So the lines apparently can be witnessed in the movies. Let me just attach his armament. He comes with a plastic knife. I just like the gaps in his hairlines. I would have preferred if his head was inundated with hair, but he looks semi-bald, at least from a bird's eye view. I thought that the hilt for the knight would be magnetic, but that's not the case. It seems to be somewhat sharp for a plastic knife, so I need to maneuver this doll around the room with caution. I hope he doesn't perform an incision against my skin. Hopefully he won't decimate me in cold blood, but who knows what will transpire. So now I have a Chucky doll for under $18. I mean, for under $80, I can't really complain. I need to reserve my gripes for another time. So here's a doll once again. Once again, this is a stupendous, novel, robust, intricate, meritorious doll. I love his aesthetics. I love the fact that he has ample points of articulation. He's able to rotate his arms. He can swivel his legs. He cannot rotate his waist. He's able to ascend and descend his forehead. He can also rotate it at your own discretion. He cannot articulate his fingers, nor can he articulate his toes. I love his cosmetics. I love his outfit. I love his design. He's relatively sturdy. The integrity of his joints has yet to be compromised. So hopefully he'll withstand the test of time. He's not marred with scratches. He's not inundated with scratches. He's practically in mint and pristine condition. He's practically unscathed. So I'm relieved that he came intact and that he didn't have any defects. Some of my action figures come ravaged amid arrival. Or I guess you can say they arrive partially damaged. This doll did not arrive damaged in any facet. He survived the transportation process, so I'm gratified. Let me just play some of his voice commands real quick.
A true classic never goes out of style.
I hope the microchip embedded in his body doesn't malfunction in the pending future, but if it does, it's not the end of the world.
A true classic never goes out of style.
I love his laugh.
A true classic never goes out of style.
I love his insidious laugh. Is he a foul, evil, malicious character? Is he wicked? Is he heinous? Is he corrupt? Well, that's discretionary, but perhaps you can deem him to be an evil character. but as a hunk of plastic, as an inanimate object. How can this guy be evil, right? The Chucky character is evil, but that doesn't mean that this particular doll is. Although I could be wrong, but hopefully my Chucky doll is a good guy and not a sadistic guy. So here he is once again in the limelight. I'm flaunting his novelties, I'm flaunting his intricacies, I'm flaunting his nitty-gritty details. I love being engrossed in a fictitious universe, so flaunting this figurine on one of my shelves will remind me to perpetually watch Chucky movies and to surround myself with entertainment as much as possible. Do you love his intricacies? Do you love his novelties? Do you love his nitty-gritty details? Or do you detest and disdain this doll? Do you think he's abysmal? Or egregious? Or do you concur with me by thinking that this doll has merit in nearly every aspect? I'm curious about your sentiments appertaining to this doll. Why do I believe that this doll is meritorious? Well, he emulates Chucky's appearance. He's relatively sturdy. He has a plethora of voice commands, and he was being sold for a somewhat reasonable price. I guess for under $80, I can't complain too much. His details are just state of the art.
A true classic never goes out of style. A true classic never goes out of style. A true classic never goes out of style.
I thought he had more than 2 voice commands. I presume that he had at least 15, but I could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe he only has 2 voice commands. That's the same, it doesn't really matter too much.
A true classic never goes out of style.
He lacks any hack and slash action. He can manually adjust his arm upwards and downwards at your discretion. His other arm can be ascended as well, or descended, if he so chooses to. Move it from its original position. He's going to be oriented in an attack position. He's poised for battle. He's eager to charge into the fray of battle and sever any adversary in his vicinity. He's adamant about trouncing any opponent that stands before him. He seeks to wreak havoc and cause mayhem against anyone who opposes him. He's out for vengeance. He kills out of spite. He slaughters for no valid reason. Is he evil? He unequivocally is. Is he a good guy? He's branded as one, but that doesn't denote that he's...
A true classic never goes out of style.
That doesn't denote that he's a noble, stoic, valiant, honorable, moral, ethical, courageous, audacious, revered being. Rather, he's a notorious, infamous, malicious, sadistic, maniacal, cunning, conniving, individual. I'm done being redundant. I'm done reiterating myself. I've stated the obvious a multitude of times. What's the obvious? The obvious is that the style depicts Chucky or Charles Lee Ray from the Chucky's Bride flick. If you've yet to bear witness to that movie, then I recommend and advocate seeing that movie when you get the chance. So, my final thought is that the style is merit. I would rate the style to be a 9 out of 10. I'm giving it a 9 as opposed to a 10 because it doesn't have a vast variety of voice commands. I also would have preferred if he was a bit more kempt and had ample hair on his forehead, but this is not the case. He's relatively unkempt. So, if you love the unkempt Frank and Chucky appearance from the Chucky's Bride flick, then by all means consider procuring this Chucky doll. If you prefer the original look from Child's Play 1 and Child's Play 2, then contemplate purchasing that aforementioned variant of Chucky. That version will likely appease you more than this version. If you prefer the original design, I prefer the modified, refined design. I love the freaking Chucky facade. I love the freaking Chucky appearance. It's just more visually appealing, to say the least, from my perspective, because it truly captures the persona and the essence and the evilness of Chucky.
A true classic never goes out of style.
I hope that you deemed this video to be intriguing and insightful. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Goodbye.